All right, so let's do this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this piece here, and we want to put our little journaling or stamping area right on the inside there. And just for the sake of making it easier to write or journal, I'm going to do this with the smooth side up. So I'm applying glue to the texture side, going very sparse with the glue so we don't warp the paper. Okay, and I'm going to stand up, just make sure that I'm getting this nice and properly aligned. Okay, here we go. I'll just push and hold that down until it dries. Okay, so that is our little journaling area. And next thing we want to do is grab this piece here, and I think it's time for me to clean off my little cutting mat because things are starting to really stick here. Okay, so the way this works is we're going to take this tab and glue it to the back side of this piece here. Okay, so we want to go ahead and get our glue right on this tab. Okay. And we can just take this piece, get it properly aligned, make sure it's nice and center. I'm just folding this over just to make sure that I've got it nice and aligned, and I do. Okay, so just push that down, make sure it gets a good grip. Okay, so we're going to put this piece in place here. And now this piece is a little complex as far as all the details go, so we're going to have to move quick to get our glue down and just do our best to get it in place. We're going to use the straight edge to align it with the side and just make sure that we get it nice and properly aligned. Do your best to get that glue in as many of these little nooks and crannies as possible, and we'll get it on there. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's flip this over, and you can see that one side of this is straight and then there's a flat bottom. So you want to make sure that you get that all nice and aligned like that, and then just push down. Here we go. Okay, that looks good. You can fold that up. All right, so next order of business is this little band down here. Now on the front of this part here, you've got these little markers that show you where that band goes. Before we glue the band, we do need to put little bits of glue on this little overlay piece. I'm just going to go ahead and use my little dot method, because I think if I try to put a whole line on there, it's just going to get crazy and it's going to spill all over the place. So just trying to put little tiny little dots on this entire thing. And this glue bottle is extremely precise once you get the feel for it. Okay, so we'll just, and you want the little points going up. Okay, you might want to grab it from both sides and just position it right in the center and push down. Mine's a tiny bit off, so I'm just going to squeeze it and push it over to the right a tiny bit. And just flatten that out and give that a good chance to dry. There we go. Okay, and then we can go ahead and put glue on the back. And get this piece in place using the little guides here. Okay, there we go. All looks great. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our little diamond together with our little flower. So this part's pretty easy. The card's almost done. But kind of why I really love this bundle is because we've kind of done all the work for you. It doesn't take long. You need a quick card, maybe 30 minutes, if that. I mean, doing this assembly pretty much live, and the last two, I think, came in at about 30 minutes at the most. Okay, so 30 minutes, 45 minutes for a nice custom card isn't all that bad. Okay, so this part here, that's going to get glued right there. Okay, we're going to have this, this is going to be overlapping that band just slightly. And we've got little guides here for you to show you where it goes and where you can and can't place the glue. So keep it within that border. Okay, and just going to overlap it just a tad. Make sure that you have it nice and vertical. Okay, that looks good. Just push and add a little extra pressure here just to make sure that that sticks nicely. Add a little glue, smear out there, that's okay. All right. Okay, and now the little raised section here, I've got this piece that I embossed with a nice little floral flourish design. And we'll get that in place. Make sure you get that nice and centered. Keep a nice even border all the way around. Just like that. Okay, and I am going to go ahead and use some foam squares to raise this up on the next layer here, or on the previous layer. I'll use 4 of them just to keep everything nice and even. And grab my handy little razor blade here to help me lift off the sticky back. And then we'll get that in place. The flower, I did some inking on the flower, and I actually found a new tool when I was at Joann's that helps me really have more control over the ink, which I really like. All right, so let's get that nice and centered, nice and vertical, aligned vertically, aligned horizontally. Do your best. Okay, there we go. That's really pretty. Okay, and there are a few little cuts here to help you with the alignment of the actual floral piece. Now, before we put this piece down, I think it's a little bit easier to glue this on first before we glue the entire thing on. Okay, so what we're going to do is on this little tulip shaped area, just put a little bit of glue on there, get it out to the edge a little bit on those tips. Okay, and we're going to glue this right to the back of this, just matching up that little silhouette there. Make sure you get that nice and in place. Just kind of squeeze a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. And we'll get our other one. So same idea. Just go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the little tulipy area. And get this piece glued right on there. There we go. All right. Okay. Now again, there are a few little guides here at the bottom to help you with the alignment of this flower. And just take a quick glance at this and kind of pay attention to the areas that we want to put glue on. I'm going to put glue on this entire area here and a little bit up here just before it curls, because we're going to pull that back a little bit to give it a little more interest. And I'm going to put a little bit on this tulipy area on the green part. Okay, so I am going to use little dots. Okay, and like I said, just before the curl there, and then just here on this little tulip area. Okay, and again, use your little guides to help with alignment. Make sure that you have it nice and vertical and centered, and then just push down. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to grab my dowel and I'm just going to curl these back a little bit just to kind of give them a little more interest. Just kind of train them so they flare out just a tiny little bit. You don't want them to be too flat. Or you can have them flat. It's up to you, really. Just kind of a personal preference. And I'm going to curl this back a little bit just to make it pop out. Okay, so there's that. Let's take a look at the envelope real quick. Envelope's pretty straightforward. So the first thing we want to do is just fold everything at the score marks, just like so. Okay, fold that. And we're going to place glue on these tabs here. Get a nice line of glue there. And I'm going to smear that out to the edge. Got a little excess up there. No worries though. Fold that down. And get that out to the edge as well. Okay. And then we're going to take this flap here and just fold it over onto the tabs, just like that, and just get them in position. Make sure everything's nice and flush. And just push down and hold until it sets. Okay, and we have a little seal that goes right here and is made up of these two pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and just put little dots on this, little dots of glue. Try to cover as much of that surface area as you can and get that nice and centered on this piece here. Push down. There we go. And your seal is going to go right about there. So we can just put a little bit of glue right there. And make sure that that's nice and vertical. Just push and hold. There we go. Okay, so there's your envelope. And last but not least, we can do a little bit of embellishing on this card as well. So I'm just taking and adding a few little rhinestones in a nice pink color to kind of complement the flower portion of the card, and it's just kind of helps make that flower pop even more. It's kind of like when if you have blue eyes and you wear a blue shirt, they kind of make your eyes pop a little more. So it's kind of what we're doing here. Just adding a few little subtle touches to help kind of spread that color out a little more. And just like that. Oops. Okay, so there you go. Card is pretty much all done. We can go ahead and find a cute little caption that we can stamp on here. I found some stamps at Joanne the other day, and let's see. Okay, so I've got my I've got some pigment inks here because I just like it's a lot richer. And I always like to just do a test stamp before I lay it down, just to make sure that it looks good. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't get it covered very well, or you're just not in the stamping zone and you end up messing it up, and that's the last thing I want to do right now is mess that up. There we go. So these cards are really cool because they don't really have a specific occasion, you know what I mean? They can work for pretty much anything. They're very classy and clean. And I've got my little best wishes stamp up there. You've got a little area inside to write a message. It comes with a cute envelope. Just very elegant, simple, beautiful way to send a friend a card without having to spend too much time. So hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Be sure to subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and I will see you next time.
Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.